Welcome to Soni Irabor Live. Tonight, we'll look at how the nation unfolds based on what you should do as a national or as a citizen of Nigeria, and what you should also do as a patriotic leader of Nigeria. So many things do happen, but we're going to take them stage by stage, and from the segment of how nationhood builds up and how we should interpret the things we're supposed to do and the things we're not supposed to do. And then we'll also look at other aspects when it comes to the individual. What's his responsibility to the country? And what's the country's responsibility to the individual? Interpretation of the law is another thing altogether. So from nationhood to individual and to citizenry, we'll talk generally, and let's see how things go. I have a columnist and a social commentator. His name is Joseph Edgar. He's been on this show before. But why did he come back? We'll just find out now. Let's see what is the meaning of statute of limitations, for example. This whole talk about death sentence for hate speech, really, what does it entail? And when do you draw a line for hate speech? What does it really mean? So many things that need interpretations here. Joseph Edgar is here with me in the studio, and I'm welcoming him by throwing him this question, which has to do with something that is a legalese, but not quite there yet. The rule of law. You understand rule of law, yeah, because you're always, making commentaries about everything. Yeah. What is rule of law?
The rule of law is the fact that everybody is equal in the face of the law.
Everybody is equal
in the face of the law.
Okay.
And that governs relationships.
Okay.
Between contending or different stakeholder groups. I might use that word. In a nation state.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. So therefore, how then do I fall foul of the rule of law?
I want us to go hurriedly into the cross of today's conversation, because I'm trying to build up that.
Yes, okay.
You see, arbitrariness,
yeah, is
the other side of the rule of law.
Arbitrariness.
I get me now. So that comes with ambiguity.
Yes.
You get, and then that comes with and then the end game is anarchy. Do you understand? So when there's no respect of the rule of law, when the rule of law does not take precedence in behaviors, in behavioral these expectations of different contending groups, you get, so we get arbitrariness. And then when there's arbitrariness, these are gray areas in relationships.
Yeah.
I get that. So when you get to gray areas in relationships, do you understand me? There's really no limit. There's really no limit, do you get? And then it ends up in chaos, in anarchy. That's when you now see that we have a society that's collapsed.
Which we are hoping we will never
get to that point.
Okay. Right, let's start with the very top.
Yes.
Hate speech, death penalty. The National Assembly, Senate especially, says maybe somebody just mooted the idea that maybe we should put death sentence as a penalty against hate speech. Now, when I saw that, I got a bit worried, because death sentence is capital punishment. So if that is the case, well, I support the idea of completely discouraging hate speech. I do, completely. But why death sentence when there are other more extraneous issues that should normally attract such things? Why jump like that to, let me not use the word arbitrary.
There are two things.
Yeah.
There are two things. The recommended punishment, do you understand? And then the so-called offense.
Okay.
Do you get? So and where the danger is for me is not even in the recommended punishment. That's not where the danger is for me. The problem is the so-called offense. You get? It's what is hate speech? Nobody has been able to define it to me.
That's the question.
Do you get? So there's the ambiguity. Do you understand? The ambiguity of the whole thing that leads to that word arbitrariness, which I'll use a lot this night. Do you get? And then when we get to that point, it's just dangerous for everybody, both sides. It's just dangerous for both sides. So you may think that you're on the right side today because you're in the Senate or because of your whatever position you find yourself. You get in 4 or 5 years time, you may find yourself in the other side of things, because we've seen judges on the other side of the dock. You know, we've seen people who have been on this side who have dispensed judgment, and all of a sudden one thing this or another, and they're on the other side. Okay? So when we start to want to trade with a currency that is not malleable, that's malleable, that is not you can't hold on to, that's where the danger is. Do you get? So the definition of hate speech that I've seen, you get, in one of those reports on what's happening in the Senate, says that when you give a speech that leads to somebody's death, it's hate speech. That's still very ambiguous. That's still very, very arbitrary. Do you understand? Because I say something, the other person gets offended, he goes and kills himself, he's not come and catch me. I really don't know.
Yeah, but it's also left with the judiciary to determine the processes that will lead to.
And so you see, now we're not going to more dangerous grounds now. Now if from what we have been seeing in the last 1-2 months, you know, we're beginning to have some funny doubts about that other side, the judiciary. Now you get to. So I'm beginning to see things like, you know, what I want to call fast food judgments. You know, so, you know, 2-3 weeks ago, we heard that the Supreme Court was going to hear the PDP matter on presidential elections, and then within 30-40 minutes, the judgment has come. Are you getting that? So, the judiciary, you see, we need the 4 realms of government in a democracy to be as solid as expected.
Dispassionate,
be as infallible as possible. But unfortunately, that doesn't seem to be what we are seeing right now in this country. You get, things are very far from the way they are supposed to be. So when you now throw in something as ambiguous, as arbitrary, as dangerous as this hate speech thing into that mix, you get, it's just a very funny formula. Scary.
So what do you advise then?
I think the leadership. No, because I've been preaching for some time now on the followership.
Yeah.
Do you get it? On the followership. You know, not really read the leadership. Because if you read the history of most modern society, it's the followership that makes things happen, not necessarily leadership. Because the followership throws up this kind of leadership that they deserve.
They deserve, yes.
You get, so Nigerians, you know, should be able to stand up and defend their democracy. You get, not by doing anything outside of the law, or not by calling for a revolution, as the case may be. You get, but by following laid down procedures, you get, and principles of democracy to protect not only themselves but also protect democratic institutions. You get, because that is where our hope really lies on. I see now. So we do not want rabble rousers. We don't want people who come and be shouting. Then when it comes to when push comes to shove, they are nowhere to be found.
Well, that's Animal Farm for you.
You know?
Napoleon Snowball.
You don't want that. We want serious-minded people who could help strengthen democracy. You get, and at the level of the followership. If we can't get to the level of the leadership. You understand?
Now let's go to the next one, which is citizenry and the way law is interpreted.
Yes.
There was a case, you know, where a Nigerian lady accused a pastor of, you know, committing some kind of atrocity. You know, is it rape? It was, and then the case got social media attention, lots of it. And after some time, it went to court and then fizzled out, and then it was dismissed, discharged and acquitted. Okay, that would be Bukola, Timi Dakolo, and Pastor Fatoyinbos, I think? Yeah. Now, Bukola is saying she wants to go to appeal the case, that the decision is not the way she expected it. And I heard somewhere, statute of limitations. Now, please, can you just look at that? You may not be a lawyer, but let's see how your reaction goes to that.
Okay, let me hit this straight to the head. Okay, I'm not a lawyer. What I've heard and what I know is that they say that there's a limit. There's a number of years that you cannot take a particular case to court.
To court.
And what I've read the snippets
So
of
when you say
judgment.
number of years, that means that if something happened, if there is a time space frame between that time, and you don't go to court
within that time frame,
within that,
then the court can't hear it.
okay.
Yeah. So
Is there a particular time mentioned to that effect?
yeah, but I don't know the exact. I don't know the exact year, right?
Yeah, okay.
The number of years right now.
Okay.
Yeah, but from the judgment that I've read, you get, so this case has gone beyond that statute of limitation. So that's why it was thrown out. And in fact, what we even heard then was that the judge even was so upset that with the lawyer, the lady's lawyer, that she should have known better, and that she would have even fined them 10 times what she did. You get, but just that she didn't want to discourage other people with genuine grievances. You get, so that this case couldn't be heard because of that statute of limitation. But I've also heard from another angle that says that thing does not hold when it comes to cases of rape.
Okay.
I've heard another legal.
In fact, I was going to bring there are so many United States examples. The Bill Cosby example, for example.
Bill Cosby was jailed because of on a particular case that was within the statute of limitation.
Okay.
It was just some few months
into it.
No, some few months to expire.
Before this.
So all those people that claim he did this to them, that this 16, that this 14, it was just this one case that and then because of his age, it's not looking like it's a life sentence. All of that again. So this is new to me. This is new to most Nigerians. You get where we hear of the statute of limitation and things like that. Because I've also heard people say that, okay, are you saying now that if someone commits murder 30 years ago,
then
cannot be tried because
the statute
of limitation.
Especially when the case is still being tried.
So
no, not tried, sorry. Still being investigated. The police is always...
for me, I think we should go beyond this judgment. You see, the issue here, and I thank this lady very much for this issue, because I have been warned for strengthening our institutions. If it's all of my write-ups has been, let's strengthen our institutions. You see, we cannot continue to say that because we've lost interest, because we've lost confidence in our institutions,
we should let everything go haywire.
You know. So, for example, now the young girls who say that they have been molested in their various universities, now they say because we cannot get judgment, we now go to BBC. No, we don't even talk. Now go to BBC and do that like they did. You get, those things are so wrong. That's the arbitrariness I talk about here now. Those are things that lead to anarchy because you never can tell where to stop. You never can tell where to stop. You never can tell where to end. So
are you trying to say there's a justification for that action? Taking the BBC example, for example.
Which of the actions?
Supposing the lecturer says he could file for defamation against the BBC.
Of course, the lecturer has the right to go do that. Yes.
Okay. All right. I'm being told that we have to take a short break. When we come back, we will dig deeper into this. There's so many things to discuss here.
When you see the Lebanese man coming here or the Indian coming here, they didn't come because our beach, our shores are green or something. They came because they identified achievable opportunities. So what is blinding us as Nigerian youth from identifying those opportunities?
It's only here that a man is 50, he's still dragging pot of rice with his siblings, and he's still a youth.
The countries that these people are running to, if those citizens ran away from their own country this same way, there will be nowhere to run to. Stay in your house and fix your problems.
When you negotiate the price of greatness, you settle for mediocrity.
Every nation that you see people highly patriotic, they've been taught, it's been ingrained in them from birth. You meet the average American, he's almost arrogant to a point.
Back in the day, in the 60s, when I used to beg Nigerians to come and school abroad, people would go out in Europe, and when the people in the shop saw Nigerians, they would slam the door shut because we're ready to spend money. We don't have that anymore.
Okay, so this is Soni Irabor live. Sorry for that echo effect. It's all part of the processes, yeah? We're trying to interpret how things are done in Nigeria. And we're finding out that a lot of things we take for granted are often seen as not right. Statute of limitations. And we brought the Dakolo, that's Bukola Dakolo, stroke Pastor Fatoyinbos case, brought it into public glare. apart from the fact that social media really debated that, in fact, that was the trial itself, unto itself.
Yes.
Then the judiciary came and they did their own. And now we're being lectured, tutored, that this really had to have been done a lot earlier and better. Then I guess Joseph Edgar says what BBC did may not be that foolproof of an action. So let's take it from there.
You know, I want to roll back.
Yeah.
I want to roll back because the problem it starts from education. You get? When you have a high concentration of semi-literate people with access to the power of social media, you begin to see the problems that we're facing in this country just yet. Do you understand? So A feels exploited or violated by B. Now A says, I do not feel, I'm not confident about getting justice from the situations that we have. So A takes her matter to social media and throws it in there. And then there's a major uproar. What we now get is a digital mob. Do you get? Driven by people who do not understand the issues, do not understand the processes, do not understand the institutions, and mixed with a lot of half-truths, bare lies, twisting of facts, and all of that.
And nobody comes with a purely professional way of interpreting or analyzing
it cannot happen. Because have you seen a mob before? Have you gone to show where there's a mob in action? You want to say, okay, I'm the voice of reason, everybody listen to me. No, it can't happen. So that's what happens in that space. You get, so everybody's like, wow. You get me now? You know, but the pastor is calm because he has access to superior legal advice. You get, be careful what you say, calm down. You cannot be convicted in social media.
Are you saying that's what Bukola didn't have?
That's what I think. I think Bukola was driven by emotions. I think his team. No, don't get me wrong, because I wrote an article about this and I was roasted. You were
roasted, okay.
I was pilloried. People say, "Oh, you have daughter. It happened to your daughter." I know that. But see, the truth of the matter is that if I, Joseph Edgar, feel violated by you, I will go to police, whether I have confidence in police or not. I will go to police and make my report. As that is what's expected of me as a law-abiding citizen of this country. Now let police not bungle it. I have that experience. But I will not say because I don't believe in police, you slap me, I slap you back. That's anarchy. That's what leads to
So
anarchy.
the rule of law now is threatened.
It's threatened.
Yeah.
So this Bukola's case, you get, threatening the rule of law as we know it. Because people started taking laws into their hands. People went to the man's church. Do you get to want to go and do things that they invaded private property.
But there's a problem here.
What's the problem?
Was there any lesson learnt? We don't even know now if the accusation was correct.
No, you see, for me, I don't care about the accusation. That is between them and their God. I don't care. What I care about is how this affects society.
Good.
How this affects institutions that have been put in place to maintain law and order in society, that enables me to treat you with respect, you to treat me with respect. Because when your own rights end, that's when your own rights begin. So, but when you take a case that shakes the rule of law, shakes institutions to its foundation, then I have a problem with that. I have a problem with that. Now, so the court case comes, and then because I'm in one very robust WhatsApp group, and some very high-thinking Nigerians. We've lost confidence in Nigerian judiciary. That's my brother. They should change the law today, this night, because of this one case. I don't understand it. So the judge said that there's a statute of limitation. So on the basis of that, I cannot hear.
I would dismiss the case.
I dismiss the case. So that judgment did not say A was guilty or B was right. You get that law said, that judgment just said that, look, because of this I cannot, which to me makes sense, which to me is perfect, which to me is beautiful for the entrenchment and strengthening of the rule of law.
Okay.
So you now wake up tomorrow and now say, oh, Nigeria, you cannot get justice. The kind of country Nigeria is, she's suffering, emotionally traumatized. Judges' cases are not answered by emotions.
No, they are not.
They are answered by facts and logic.
Logic.
You get, and who argues it? Too bad. They say the law is an ass. Too bad. It's not to go through. So don't come and tell me your daughter is your sister, your sister is your daughter is a girl to happen to you. No. If my daughter goes to Unilag and is assaulted by a lecturer and she goes to social media, me I will slap her. Because that social media, what will she achieve there?
Yeah.
Can she get redress in social media? She can all she can get, the best she can get is what Mrs. Dakolo got. You get is huge favorable public opinion that may or may not affect judgments. Are you see now?
Yeah.
This pastor can come back now and say I've damaged me.
Yeah, he's threatened.
Do you understand?
Yes, he said he was going to
say I've damaged
sue for
me.
defamation of
I think in
character.
Nigeria, we have to be very careful. No? People used to push people.
And then when you are there alone, they abandon you.
It's my brother, former governor, that told me, I said, my brother, okay, why don't we fight this thing? This our primary election that we're about to lose now. We must come up for second time. He said, guys, in this Nigeria, when you go, you have to be sure that when you look back, they're still coming behind you. I tell you, the people who push this woman to where she has gotten to now,
Where are they now?
They've calmed down now. They're not pushing again to go to appeal. Are you getting now? She might have a case if the other side that says that Stand Liberty does not hold. But I want to believe that the judge, who has been a sitting judge, a female judge for that matter, cannot just manufacture that statute.
Must have done enough research. Yes.
I guess now. But at the end of the day, it helps the process.
It reminds us.
It reminds
of what
us
we should do.
What we should do.
Yes.
It tells us. It has brought it to the forefront of public discourse now.
Yes.
Everybody's asking, so the Statute of Liberty, because a lot of us Statute of Limitation, because a lot of us I didn't even know. It's because we have made most of us know that this thing is happening. But we didn't even know it was part of the Nigerian. It's part of the Nigerian legal system. Legal system, So it does not mean or anybody trying to defend sexual violence in any way.
You see, that I wanted to bring that up because there were other accusations. Now, I was hoping that those ones will even at least come out.
You see, that is the problem in this country.
But none of them came out like in the because so many of them came out in the US.
You see, I don't have a problem with the victims. Because we want to assume the victims have been traumatized. Nobody will believe them. So let's even assume that, okay, that's okay. But these victims, what I have a problem with now are the victims in quotes, who have now grown in stature and have influence and power in society, who cannot now build a safe haven for all these young people to come.
Yeah,
now,
there's no
you see, I wrote a terrible, scouting article against a sitting first lady who came out to say that she too was violated, and you're like, is something wrong with you? You're a first lady, they violated you in Unilag. You didn't say anything. You didn't use your weight to build a structure that will enter that Unilag and fish out all those random lawyers and lecturers.
Yes.
You didn't build a fund that people will donate into to protect all these young girls
who are suspecting victims.
Who are suspected victims. You now waited until BBC now came. And then you now jump on the to get media. Media was violated in Unilag and you leave it there. Normal people, Americans don't do these things now. They will come out and say, look, I was violated. And I devote my life to fighting for other people.
Right.
Do you get? So as a first lady, I put the first 5 million, I do a trust for people who come and donate, and I give legal aid. Any girl.
From now on,
that feels that anybody touch your toenail, come to me. I will fight it to the end.
Yes.
Do you get? Now, even now social media now, she can now enter in like I say,
go on. Hit on.
I say any woman here, do you get? Let that lecturer struggle to prove his innocence. Everybody will sit up.
Yes.
Okay? But so we have because what I've heard now, they say 1 out of every 4 women have been violated. What I mean, is that bad?
That's such a spurious claim. But then it's actually a very dangerous claim.
Yes, that's what I heard.
Yeah.
So, but when you go through that,
and it has to stop.
It has to stop.
But how can it be stopped?
Wait, hold on. If let's assume we're saying this argument now that is true.
Yeah.
Some of these women have been violated. They are high court judges, they are lawyers, they are big politicians, they are senators, they are MDs of banks.
Certainly, they are in a position to wield some power. What are they doing? Good
what
question.
Structures are they putting in place? So we have FIDA, International Association of Women Lawyers. We have this, we have that. Women, everything. You get, what are they doing to help the young, vulnerable girls?
So many more are coming.
Who are being violated, of course, on a daily basis. only women, even men have been violated.
Mm.
That was even the worst, because a lot of men who have been violated but can't.
They can't talk.
Because they say, are you normal? You, the police.
Okay, now let's move from there
Yeah.
to this time some kind of enforcement and the people.
Okay.
And the news just now before the program started, there was something called noise pollution,
Oh, okay.
which on its own is a law in Lagos State.
Yes.
Once violated, it's actionable, right?
Yes.
Okay. Now for LASEPA to now come out and start putting these things down, is it that the people do not know that these laws exist, or that they know but they don't want to try to obey it?
They don't know.
What is it? How can they not know?
No, I'm telling you, they don't know. Everything goes down to education. They don't know. I'm sorry, they don't know. I'm telling you the truth. Most people don't know that there are laws against that noise pollution. When they talk about noise pollution, they are not thinking about their church. They are thinking about exhaust pipe of their car. They are thinking about Owambe party. Nobody's thinking that the churches and the mosques are involved. But I live in Shomolu. So there's this big church directly on my window, like this, and they'll be doing night vigil. They'll do night vigil Friday night till Saturday morning. Then they'll do choir practice Saturday evening till Sunday morning. Then they'll do church. That was the whole day. So one day I called the pastor. I said, my brother, this thing you are doing is pollution. It's affecting me. And then he began to look like the devil. They started to cast and bind me. I'm telling you, they started to cast and bind me. I could hear it from my bedroom, and they were praying that the Holy Spirit should capture me wherever I am. And so I think that somebody did a very good job of it. And this Holy Spirit catching them, of trying to curb this thing. So and because I was saying that news report now, I like the spread.
Yes.
So they went to Lekki, went to Bariga, went to Shomolu, went to Ketu. It's very good. They like the spread, so it evens out. Do you understand me? So nobody will say, oh, anybody's singling us out for. You go to the mosque too and all that, because it's dangerous to health. That way a lot of people don't know. It is
dangerous to health.
Because when you are 40 years and above, you must get your 8 hours sleep at the minimum of 6 hours. Once you are 40 years and above, you know what I'm talking about now. If you don't get your 6 hours sleep, you are messed up. You get your BP goes and you just fall and die at the age of whatever. So, but somebody you try to sleep and someone says he's worshiping God and somebody will sleep. It's a problem. And I think it's a very good move.
Okay, for the sake of, let's emphasize the education bit now.
Yes.
All right, I mean, when does it become noise pollution? I understand, because I did some little research on it, because, I mean, I'm involved in the Residents Association, and we're battling with such things. And I'm told that 55 decibels is the minimum allowable for anybody to operate with a loudspeaker, and the resident or neighbor can actually sleep well. Anything that is above that, then you are threatening the peace and tranquility of the neighborhood. Another thing is, most of these noise pollutants are located rather in some of these places that they are not supposed to be in the first place. So residential areas, commercial areas, and so on and so forth. If I were to call my resident and say, by the way, this thing that we're talking about, how much do you know about noise pollution? They may know. But if I invite those who are guilty of it, those who have the means for disseminating noise, so to speak, this is noise pollution, they will be defending themselves. So what do you think this time now residents associations should do before we even invite LASEPA at all?
Uncle Soni, I think I'm the longest person you should be asking
You
about.
sound conspiratorial in the way you said Uncle Soni there.
I think I'm the longest person you should ask anything about.
Yeah, okay, use your layman's
about resident association. I just think that those people who have turned themselves into a cabal of I don't know what to use, ESCOs or so.
Which people now? Okay, the associations?
That's where arbitrariness lives.
Really?
I'm telling you.
Okay.
That's where arbitrariness lives. So at the end of the day, they trample on people's rights, all in the name of ESCO, association, all of that. And that's why I see there's a lot of resistance from people, even when the ESCOs are right. Do you understand? So I live in an estate, and I mean, I see all whatnot. Do you understand? All in the name of maintaining.
Give me an example.
Okay, I'll give you a small example now. So I am being told that I have a limited number of people to visit me because I live in a gated community.
Oh, gated community. Okay, okay.
So I'm being told that I can only receive 5 visitors a day. Do you get? I'm also being told that
yours is even more towards that statute of limitation.
You understand?
Okay.
So I'm even told that it made outside my door 2 feet. The rest is communal ground. So I can't do party. I have to take permission from ESCO to do party.
Well, that's for orderliness sake, wouldn't you say?
You know, but see, the question now is that so where does it stop? That's the arbitrariness there. So it's for, what do you call it now? To maintain law and order.
Yes, yes.
So you now infringe my rights.
Your rights, yes.
Because
your rights also includes the fact that you have to obey rules and regulations.
Okay, I do that. So where that rules and regulation now clashes with the constitution of the country, which one supersedes.
Okay.
I get it now. So I live on an estate where the ESCO on their own go and sign an agreement that binds me, that moves my power
without your input?
Without my input.
You're a stakeholder?
Move my power bill from 20 something naira per hour, wherever, to 40 something naira per something, and I say okay, because the ESCO, the meeting was held, you didn't come, landlords who don't live in the estate came for that meeting and took a decision.
Ah, no.
You know, so
that's out of line.
It's out of, but see, what I really need to say now is that when we were younger, we used to do what they call civic studies.
Yeah.
You see, that civic studies will solve most of these problems, because a lot of people don't know
where fundamental rights
and don't know their rights, don't know their obligations as citizens. You get some of these small things, because you don't need to put constitution in your head. You know, at times, in some cases, when you read police, you realize that I'm in trouble. Because some of these that we do, we don't even know that they are against the law.
The law.
And ignorance is not it's not an excuse in the face of the law. This noise pollution thing, for example, now, it's until this LASEPA move this afternoon that millions of people now realize that it's actually an offense.
But seriously, that is why Lagos and Nigeria are in this situation where they cannot even control their emotional state.
Yeah, so I'm saying the same thing now. So when people don't know, do you get? People don't know. There has to be civic education.
Yeah.
There has to be civic education at all levels. It has to be continuous. You that are in the media, you have to play a role. The schools have to play a role. Communities have to play a role. Rental associations have to play a role. You get? In letting people know, in engaging people, in talking. You get? In consulting. You get? Because a lot of people don't really know these things. I'm telling you, a chairman of an ESCO will come and cut my lights. It's against the law. He doesn't know. He doesn't know. In the last, which year was that? 1004 ESCO, they put them in jail now. Because they went to cut lights. The law is very clear. You can't cut anybody's lights. Just like that. There are processes of this. But because I pay my NEPA bill, my PSM bill is say 16,000 naira. I pay 14,005.
Okay.
You cut my lights because I live in community. Are you see now? So the pastor who wants to, Jesus must come down. Jesus must come down. The only way Jesus must come down is for this noise to let him hear wherever he is. He doesn't know he's committing an offense. Are you guys now? He doesn't know he's committing an offense. You get? So, and then there has to be a willingness of the people to want to even obey these laws.
That statement you just made is a very powerful one, and I think we should just take it. Do you have a call? A break? Okay, sorry. I got carried away there. You know, when you're with somebody like Joseph Edgar, you have to really pay attention. We'll be right back after the break.
When you see the Lebanese man coming here or the Indian coming here, they didn't come because our shores are green or something. They came because they identified achievable opportunities. So what is blinding us as Nigerian youth from identifying those opportunities?
It's only here that a man is 50, he's still dragging pot of rice with his siblings, and he's still a youth.
The countries that these people are running to, if those citizens ran away from their own country this same way, there will be nowhere to run to. Stay in your house and fix your problems.
When you negotiate the price of greatness, you settle for mediocrity.
Every nation that you see people highly patriotic, they've been taught, it's been ingrained in them from birth. You meet the average American, he's almost arrogant to a point.
Back in the day, in the 60s, when I used to beg Nigerians to come and school abroad, people would go out in Europe, and when the people in the shop saw Nigerians, they would slam the door shut because we're ready to spend money. You know, we don't have that anymore.
Okay, so we're in the last lap of this hot edition of Soni Irabor Live. Joseph Edgar is our guest, and we've actually been trying to get us to become aware of what our responsibilities are when it comes to respecting the rule of law. And I'm hearing a lot of good things and a lot of surprising things. Okay? All right. Well, are you a playwright or you are involved in production of plays?
No, I'm a theater producer.
Theater producer.
I can write too, but I don't want to write.
Okay. You're a theater producer, and you did a play in Benin called The Motan.
Yeah.
I want to take you up on that because of the way it was, it played out.
Yeah.
The vice president saw it, I think?
Briefly.
Briefly, okay. All right. Yeah. A Motan is a powerful name in Benin.
Yes.
And the story was so emotive.
Yes.
And it's a powerful woman behind the throne
Yes.
of a great king.
Yes.
Did she die in the story? Yes, naturally.
Yes.
But did she die in your interpretation of the story? That's another question. So what's your answer to that? Because the reaction, I've been trying hard not to.
You know, when we were going to Benin, someone said, Edgar, would you like the Oba to come and see the play? And I said, no. He said, but why? I said, because this play will not be a perfect adaptation of the story. So we don't want to risk that PR disaster where the Oba gets upset or walks away or whatever, I don't know. So, you see, we take creative liberties on the stories. Yes, the true story, all of that. You get, but see, we're trying to send a message, you get, to a modern society using what happened in the past. So basically, what we're trying to do in Motan is to ask Nigerians, not only Benin people, you get, what happened to the values that this woman gave the children that she was that were under her care.
Yeah.
Because what we know is that that's the problem with Nigerians always miss it. You get, so all the criticisms we've heard about Motan, you get, has been away from what we're trying to achieve. It's just like when Will Smith, a major Hollywood star, depicts a Nigerian professor in that movie, and then Nigerians were all about his accent, forgetting the message that a Nigerian wanted to bring down NFL, a multi-billion-dollar industry, due to its medical research. So what we're trying to do in Motan very quickly is that somebody must have instilled in Benin children of those days values and ethics that made them build Benin Empire into what it became.
Fantastic.
And then what now happened to those values of today vis-a-vis human trafficking?
Okay, all right. Let me, because I've been told that the program must end at this stage. That Motan is coming to Lagos.
Yes, December.
When is it?
December
what?
22, 23, 24, 25.
I'll be there.
Yes,
and I want to see what effort you've made in trying to instill the correctness of that value. But thank you so much for coming on the show. Thank you so much. And well, people, we've tried to make it a lively one, and I want to let you know there's no end to how we can better the society if we define properly how it should be. Thank you again, and good night.